Another thing that I want to mention about maroon culture is that we still see religions as schools of thought. So you were supposed to learn as many schools of thought as you can and practice the one that resonates most deeply with you.
So the order of
Melchizedek.
Melchizedek.
So Melchizedek in biblical folklore was the king of Salem, taught Abraham how to kind of understand and observe the divine. And I think that's the...
So what, sorry, I was going to say, what is that?
What, the order?
The order of Melchizedek.
So this is the thing, it's when I say order, so I said loose, because there isn't, in the same way that you might find liturgy in Masonic law, or you might find...
I don't know what that is.
So you might find writings. So Manly P. Hall, for example, wrote books for 33-degree Masons. They're in public consumption now, but at the time, it was required reading for anyone that's kind of going through Masonic degrees.
Journey, yeah.
So a lot of those books and documents where we still practice oral traditions, we was open to learning these schools of thought. And I think it gave me an ability to critically think about the religious aspect of, I guess, modern society, to be fair. When I'm first having conversations with friends in people's houses as a young person, I didn't realise it wasn't something that was popular to talk about. It was not cool to speak about esoteric thoughts and approaches in Christian houses. Like I was told I'm a juju man. I come out of the house. Don't want
I can imagine.
Yeah, and I think.
So before you go, what is the order? What is that?
So that I say order of Melchizedek. Melchizedek is a body of teachings. So I guess the mythos behind it is that Melchizedek was one of the archangels. This is mythos. I don't necessarily subscribe.
So this is in the Christian logic, in the Christian theology.
I guess it's esoteric Christianity, because you won't find, other than Melchizedek as a king of Salem and a teacher of Abraham, you won't find anything else in the biblical canon.
Because I never heard of this until you mentioned it, and I googled it. I didn't know what it was. I forget to ask you one day.
Yeah, you won't find a lot. So there is a teacher, Drumvalo Melchizedek, and I wasn't aware of his work when I was younger, but I do think, the work around the flower of life, the work around sacred geometry, the work around alternative world history, this is like the corpus of the order of Melchizedek. So I was actually initiated in the School of Remembering, which was the first. For many years, I couldn't read or take in European literature seriously.
So it's just a different take on Christianity? What, like, was there a guy that came with this?
Well, I mean, that's why I mentioned Drumvalo Melchizedek now, because I think before Drumvalo Melchizedek in probably the 90s came with the kind of a few books and I guess not dogma, but a very specific curriculum. So there was kind of breath work, meditation, chakra cleansing, third eye opening meditations. These are the things that I was doing in my late teens. But the reason why I mentioned Drumvalo Melchizedek is because for a long time, as a person, as a Maroon, I didn't take some of the European New Age stuff too seriously until I was I was exposed to the School of Remembrance. So I'd done a 3-day retreat, but we kind of had to read quite a few books before we got that. So I'm a accredited Opening the Illuminated Heart facilitator. So it's kind of breath work, chakra cleansing. And these are, I guess, tools I've used for my own spiritual and mindset peace of mind, but also let me go straight to the thing.
And those things come from that order. That School of Remembrance is from the order
of Melchizedek,
Melchizedek. So you initiate into that system through that school.
Yeah.
And that system started with a guy. A guy came with it.
See, this is the thing. This is why I said mythos and kind of eponymous ancestors, because actually many of those biblical patriarchs, we can't prove they existed. And Melchizedek, in terms of he was the person that gave Abraham the tools to build what we know now as Judaism. But I'd say it comes from the core, the canon, the wider canon of Christian thought or Judaic thought, as opposed to Christians, because I don't think any Christian would adhere to or subscribe to Melchizedek because it's esoteric. Because
I'm trying to figure out, where did that order start, like, or how did it start?
When I say order, that's why I said loosely, because there isn't.
Yeah, I'm with you.
You can't. There has never been
that school of thought. Then, where did that school of? How did it start? Where did it start? Where did it come from?
What person started it?
Yeah,
well, I mean, the Melchizedek, the king of Salem, is supposed to have been
the king of Salem.
Now, Jesus is supposed to have been the first priest of Melchizedek as well.
Not like in the theology, like, you know, like you got the Mormon Christian people, right? Yeah. There's a name, there's a John something, innit? Yeah. This guy, he came, and he said, I found the Bible, da. He started it.
Yeah.
Whatever the theology says is what the theology says, but he comes with this way of thinking.
Then in that respect was started by Abraham's teacher. I mean, the reason why I say supposedly, because I don't know if Abraham.
That's the theology, no? Abraham's teacher, as in Abrahamic faith. No.
So pre-Abrahamic religions, there was an order of Melchizedek that taught Abraham how to commune with the divine. And I don't know, that's why I say supposedly, because we can't prove these things. We can't prove oral tradition.
Because I'm getting lost here in that order. Is you're saying that in 1000 in the 11th century, that would have existed.
Yeah.
So there was an order of Melchizedek, and it's always existed. Who was practicing or who was studying it at that time?
I would argue,
because I had never heard of that order.
The teachings or the school of thought of Melchizedek would have been syncretized into what we now know as Judaism.
No, I get that. So what you're saying is it's like Sufism to Islam. I get that, right? But even with Sufism, you can go to a date when it started exactly, right? I'm looking for the date where this started.
You can't do that with Melchizedek.
But surely, because there's a book attached to it.
Maybe it's just the beginning of time.
There's a book now. I mean, it's the 20 years ago. Melchizedek, the John
and before that, it existed.
Before that, again, it was a school of thought. So when my aunt, my grand would say Melchizedek, they're speaking actually from a biblical sense. They're trying to teach me in a way that isn't biblical. They're trying to take a certain aspect. The Lawrence books, I would argue, in the process of me becoming aware of Melchizedek teachings, I was reading the Lawrence books. Now, very few people in esoteric Christianity would even take that on.
Struggling. Yeah, I'm with you. So basically,
I started with that one because it's a school as opposed to an order. So they say order of Melchizedek, but it doesn't have the same governance. I'll speak about a couple of more of my initiations, but